Joining me today is Aisha Saintiche, and she is a certified health coach. And we're going to have a really, really, really good conversation today about realizing self-worth and taking action for side hustle success. And you'll find out more about why we decided to go with that topic. But first, I have to give Aisha a moment to shine. Tell us more about yourself. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and take it away, Queen.
Thank you so much, CJ. Such an honor to be here. And I do have to say, and I think I shared this with you before, nothing happens by accident. Everything happens by design. And I am grateful for my willingness to put myself out there, because had I not, I would not have connected with you. So I want to honor that around the importance of putting yourself out there, because you really never know who you're going to connect with. Right? But as you said, I'm Aisha Saintiche. I'm a certified health coach. And I think for a lot of people, when they hear certified health coach, they're like, oh, does she do physical fitness? Does she do nutrition? And I do a little bit of that, more from a personal perspective. But as a certified health coach, I am really focused on mental health and wellness, and using authentic self-care as the conduit to that. And so when I talk about authentic self-care, what I mean is, oftentimes we're like, oh, go get a massage, go get a pedicure, go have a piece of cake, go take a bath, all lovely things. But authentic self-care is really about being intentional in everything that you do that is intended to ensure that you are in the green, that you're operating from your optimized self. Right? Because our mental health, and again, in my opinion, and based on my expertise, really is the conduit to being able to become self-aware, self-discover, self-actualize. And so I am so hyper-focused on just really creating opportunities and freeing people of this inner chatter that says, I can't take time for myself. I got to do all these other things first before I do for myself. No, I am like the champion of making yourself a priority, making your mental health a priority, making, again, emotional, physical, spiritual, financial well-being your priority, so that you can show up as the best version of yourself. And what that looks like, I mean, I do workshops, I do one-to-one coaching, I do keynotes, I do facilitation. Really, I will find myself at any table where I can just impart and inspire people to realize that they need to put themselves first, be comfortable with it, with the understanding that the way in which you're showing up for the people that you love is like truly, from a cup that overfloweth, not that's emptying. So I didn't wake up like this, like Beyonce. Like this has been a journey to get to this understanding around the significance and importance of taking care of our mental health through self-care. So still very early on in this journey, but fully committed to bringing this kind of awareness and education and empowerment to anyone who wants to listen. Honestly, I'm here for it all.
Yes, yes. And I love that you mentioned it's not coincidence. Our paths were meant to cross. We did also talk about like working together, collaborating, and making decisions. And then today's topic was actually I knew I wanted to have you on as a guest. But then I was like, girl, can you come on and talk about self-worth? And it was like, it just all made sense because you right now, you mentioned your journey. It's fairly early on for you in your journey. But you've made some pretty solid decisions, which is why we've had other conversations. You've made some pretty solid decisions about your journey because you realize your self-worth, because you realize that you have more to offer to the world, and you can't quite do that because you're still you're a side hustler. You're still at the 9 to 5. So share with me, talk to me about your journey to realizing your self-worth, to getting to this point where you're just like, no.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wrap. So just really quickly. So again, I think like many of us, right? I did all the right things. I am of West Indian parents, went to school, got my degrees, found a good job, one with a pension, did all the things that I was supposed to do. And while I was fulfilled in my 9 to 5, I think one of the things that I realized, this was probably 10 years ago, because it was a pivotal moment where everything game shifted for me. I spent a lot of my time seeking validation from others. So I wasn't worthy until someone that I thought was higher than me thought that I had done a good job, or I, put in those extra hours in hopes that someone would be like, you know what, Aisha, it's your time to shine. You deserve a promotion, or you deserve to, get on this, this really important committee or this project, whatever that looked like. It was just what I thought I needed to do in order to demonstrate my worth. The pivotal moment was going for a job that I had been the junior level for 9 years.
Okay.
I mean, I had at that point, I knew it all and didn't get the position. And the response to that was, you just needed a little bit more time. You needed to demonstrate more leadership skills. You needed to demonstrate, just a little bit more. And I thought to myself, at that point, I had a master's. I had 4 certifications. I had 9 years of direct experience, and I still needed more. And I came into that position from being 22 and running an organization at 22. I thought, okay, bet. And as hard as that realization was, CJ, that was the most pivotal moment of my life. And I say that because it was at that moment that I decided that I realized I had put all of my value in other people's recognition of me. And the truth is, and I'm going to share this, and it's not my total gem, but it's a gem that I want to share.
Okay.
That when you allow other people's perspective to supersede yours, you might actually be undermining yourself. Because anyone who's operating from a limited mindset will never see you better than themselves. Right? Their optimal view of you could actually be your baseline. And when you put your faith and your belief in other people's value in yourself, you're shortchanging yourself. And that was like the mic drop for me. I said, no, I'm done. I'm done allowing other people to dictate whether I was worthy or not. I was already worthy 5 years before that. But I needed that experience. I needed that gut punch to actually change my perspective. And so that's how I entered into the side hustle of entrepreneurship, because I thought, I have so much more to give. I have so much more to offer, even beyond in this kind of space. Why am I selling myself short? Like, why should other people not get this transformative energy because they weren't able to handle it? And that was the beginning of Me to Moi, honestly.
That's why I had said this is the topic it was decided. It was decided because like you said, and it's also people treat us how we allow them to treat us. And recently I shared a newsletter article about 10 things your 9 to 5 does not want you to know. Right. And it's about, feeling stuck. It's a state of mind and, really kind of being able to embrace your uniqueness. But all these are the things they don't want us to know, so that we stay in this state of mind of, I need the stability and I need the structure and the predictability. And like you mentioned at the beginning, growing up Caribbean, you work hard, you study even harder, you work even harder, you get the job, you do the thing, to turn around and be like, I want to do my own thing. Like, what? Right.
Come again? You want to do what? You want to leave a pension?
So now with you, everything is centered around, your mental health. I love it. Self-care. When you said that, I take my clients through, typically there's 8 areas of life. I broke it down into 12 areas of life. And self-care is area 1. The first thing we talk about, business is area 12. Because I want to stress that your business should fit into your life or your lifestyle. So like you mentioned, your spiritual growth, your personal development, your relationship with your family, your friends, your community, your leisure, all of that comes in your physical environment, your money, all that comes into play before really kind of focusing on your business. So we're at the 9 to 5. We're not feeling fulfilled. And now you have this conditioning. It's an employee mindset. What do you think a woman she knows this is not it. I remember being in that place of like looking around and like, this, no, this isn't it for me. Right. And so she knows that. But there's so much to push past, which is why I studied mindset and became a certified mindset coach as well. Is just a lot of it is in our heads. So knowing that we attach our worth to what someone else is saying about us or how someone else evaluates us, how does she start to find herself in that space to be able to push past the mediocrity, challenge the status quo, and find our own
Yeah.
footing.
One of the funny things that I always, and I'm sure you've experienced, one of the funniest things when I work with clients, I say, okay, I need you to journal. I need you to just put what is in here on paper. And they're like, no. And I'm like, why? They're like, because then it's true. And I'm like,
Oh,
no, actually what it is, it's that it allows you to see what it is you've been telling yourself in your head. Like you actually need to see it in your eyes to be able to start to counter it, because the mind is a powerful thing, right? Like you said, the inner chatter is very powerful, but we also have the ability to rationalize sometimes the nonsense we tell ourselves, like, no, you know what? I do think it's right. I probably need to do one more certification, or I probably need to just stay in this job a little bit longer in order to. We do a really good job of keeping our negative narrative rational. And so I encourage people, first thing, write it down, brain dump. What are you telling yourself? I'm mediocre. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough experience. And then I need you to look at it and really look at it and then think, is this for, like, would I tell myself this? Would I tell myself I'm not good enough? Would I tell somebody, CJ, you're not good enough. You're mediocre. You need to work. I would never tell anybody that. So why would I consciously tell myself that? And it's an exercise that I do employ with a lot of my one-to-one clients. And what they start to realize is like, oh my God, how have I been treating myself? Like, how have I allowed this narrative and these words to be what I believe to be my truth, when in fact, I know that's not. I know I'm watching myself mother, caregive, work, do all these things every single day. How could I have doubt in my capacity to step into the space that I know that I'm destined to? And I love what you shared around your steps, that it's not the business first. Because for me, this process has been honestly organic, and I'm not telling people to do it this way, but I did not start Me Tomorrow with like a business plan and a strategy, and not at all. Okay. I started with an awareness that I had a gift and a purpose, and my whole thing was to bring it out. And whatever that looked like, however that was going to transform, it was going to transform, and I was going to receive what I needed to receive. I was going to learn from whatever I needed to learn from. I was going to fail and learn from whatever I needed to. And it has been the best process. And so I would say, again, confronting, like really actively confronting what you are telling yourself and allowing yourself to sit with that. It's not to say that there are not people, and this is why they seek out coaches like you to really help them unpack what is the root of this narrative. But look at it and really think, is this true? Like, this can't be true about me at all.
Right.
Right.
And you just really have to, and that's what I started doing because I mean, the voice never goes away. Like it hangs out for the rest of our lives. So it's just here.
Right?
But getting to the point where you can be like, is this true? That's not true.
No.
And being able to realize that I was actually just having this conversation just earlier today. Mm-hmm. We were conditioned to be the person that we were told to be this person. We didn't have the opportunity to say, this is who I am, this is what I'm meant to do, this is where I'm meant to be. Because, we come into the world and our parents, our guardians, whoever, they do their best raising us, and they say, don't do this, do that, be here, don't be there, until you get to a point where it's, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Something's not right. So challenging that status quo. So what is the biggest thing that somebody needs to do to enforce, to really make that commitment to self?
There's so many things. There's so many I could say. I think for me, one of the first things is getting comfortable with the idea of putting yourself first and removing the guilt around putting yourself first. Because I think a lot of times, and I'm going to caveat this and I'm going to generalize and say women, we are absolutely conditioned to be selfless, with the idea that the more we demonstrate that we give is the more that we're going to receive. And sometimes that happens, but a lot of times it doesn't. And the reason why, and you said it before, is that we create the conditions by which people treat us. So if I always operate where I'm giving and I'm giving and I'm giving and I'm giving and I'm looking like I'm so fulfilled by giving, why would somebody stop taking? Not because they're malicious, but I've demonstrated that this is how I need to feel good, right? Like I have to keep giving to you in order to feel fulfilled. So you're going to keep taking. Yes. But the act of saying, I love myself so much that I'm willing to put pause on giving to you, to give to myself, so that when I do give, it is with no bitterness. It is with no resentment. It is with joy. It is with purpose. It is with intent. And that has to be done from a guilt-free place and a recognition that it doesn't mean you're not caring and loving and supporting others. It just means that you have to do it for yourself so that you can do it in the way that you want to. And I have this thing that I say, that the have to and the get to, right? Okay. There's a lot of things that we have to do as adults. We got to pay bills. We have to put gas in our car. We have to pay insurance. But we get to show up as our best version. We get to treat ourselves to the utmost. We get to feel good, right? And so part of, like you said, that mindset is I get to take care of myself. I get to make myself a priority so that I can show up the way that I want to show up for all the people, places, and things that I need to. And shifting that mindset around, releasing the selflessness and understanding that, selfishness in a proper way is the conduit to, again, being able to do all the things that you desire to do.
Right. Imagine if we treated ourselves the way we treat the people that we love. Like just every day, like we're good to ourselves. As you were talking, I was just like, can you just imagine what the world would be like? Of course, if we really, really learned to prioritize self without the guilt, as you mentioned, because again, we're going to speak about women. We tend to feel guilty when we prioritize ourselves. Yeah. And we tend to feel guilty when, and what I hear from clients is they want to have their own thing. And what they do realize, they come in sometimes, didn't even think about like having a coach and what having someone in your corner could actually mean. But to have someone just remind you and to hold space and to validate your feelings and to say, no, you have to make yourself a priority. You have to, for you to make this decision, because essentially walking away from your 9 to 5 is one of the biggest decisions you would make in your life. I have had someone tell me that it was easier for her to end her marriage than it was for her to walk away from her job.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Could you imagine?
Wow.
So to make the decision to walk away from something where you went in every day to meet someone else's expectations, to get the validation from someone else and be recognized and rewarded by someone else and compensated by someone else, to now be able to take control of that. It's huge.
It's huge.
It is a huge, and it starts with self and realizing self-worth and getting to the point that you are now at where you are. Yeah, you're an excellent employee. Sounds like you said you had 92,000 certifications. I think.
Yeah, like beyond like time.
As a certifications. I heard you mention that, and I'm like, how many? You're an asset, and they know that. But now you've decided to. It's your turn. It's Aisha's time. It's Aisha's time, and I think it's beautiful. And I think it's really, truly, truly beautiful. And I really want, and I'm so committed to seeing more and more women getting to that point of, and it's kind of happening. Is it a movement? Did I miss something? Because some women that I met a year ago, they're coming back around and they're like, CJ, I'm ready. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, okay, what shifted? You know what? It's time. It's time. Yeah. The time is the thing, because we don't get it back. Time is the most expensive currency. We don't get it back. So kudos to you for getting to that point where you're like, it's Aisha's time. I want to see more women get to that point where they're just choosing themselves guilt-free. That's the part. It's guilt-free. Yeah.
It is probably one of the most emancipating feelings ever, to be able to be in a place. And like I said, I did not wake up like this. Like, this has been a lot of self-work, a lot of self-assessment, self-discovery, self-awareness, and being real, like being raw and real, and also having people in my life to also keep it 100, because we have our own ability to gaslight our own selves. Like, I could tell myself a whole lot of nonsense. I really could, and convince myself that what I'm saying is right. But I'm also grateful for the tribe that I have who are like, you can say that, but I need you to think about what that looks like. And once I got to that place, it's so freeing. And I think people have seen it, things that people have shared with me. They're like, Aisha, we see it in your skin. We see it in how you dress. We see it in how you talk, how you show up in a room, how you are. And for me, it is like this being is a reflection of being emancipated from, again, this narrative that said I had to be this, I had to do this, I had to look like this, I had to act like that. And again, being a Black woman,
Yes.
right? I have tattoos, I have red hair, I have piercings, I have locks. I work in a corporate environment. I do not necessarily reflect corporate, right?
Yeah.
But what I did realize is the moment I got on that podium and said what I needed to say, regardless of the assumptions that you made about me, you would know that you needed me because I possessed the skills and the knowledge and the experience. And so once I let go of the outside superficial expectation that I thought people needed to see and just presented myself, take it or leave it. But know that when you take it, you're getting an asset. Once I left that,
woo,
done.
Episode's over. Okay, bye everyone. Right?
Drop like we'll talk though.
Scene.
Yeah,
I love that. Was powerful.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gather yourself, CJ.
Yeah.
Breathe through it. Yeah. That was a moment. That was beautifully shared. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. What do you, now that you've mentioned you're an asset, it's Aisha's time. What do you have coming up? What's going on? Me to moi. What do people need to know about you or get from you or seek from you and keep an eye out for?
Woo. Well, what you need to know is this is me all day, every day. I do not drink coffee. I am high transformative energy every single day. I'm going to put that out there. It's a bit of a running joke with my friends. They're like, do you ever get tired? And I'm like, no, I don't, because I take care of myself. I don't, I balance myself. So this is why I can stay in this space. So a few things. I do have a monthly newsletter that I call Time for Tea. So T being taking empowered action. And every month I just insert that like reminder around taking care of yourself, what it means to self-actualize, what it means to bring authentic joy, what it means to take care of our mental, like it's different themes depending on what the month is. And certainly I'm happy to share that link. What is coming up is the elevation of Time for Tea. So Time for Tea was my first signature workshop that really helped people understand that in order for us to take empowered action, to step into our greatness requires very much what you shared, CJ, like there's a process because you can't just go from 0 to 100. You actually have to undo a narrative that kept you where you are, release that, and then plant new plants with fresh soil in order to become the version that you want. But now we're elevating because of course we don't stay stagnant. Women like us, we don't just stay status quo, we elevate. And so I have a workshop that's coming up in September. So stay tuned for that, called Living with Audacity. And what it means is living with boldness, living your authentic, unapologetic self. Listen, I'm so committed to living unapologetically that on my birthday last year, it says unapologetically what? Like this is the depth of which I empower and I facilitate and I connect with people. And I realize, again, it's not a 0 to 100, but I want to be able to walk people through that emancipatory process of just letting go people, places, and things that no longer serve you and giving you the tools and the resources and helping you realize that you actually possess your own greatness. And sometimes, like you said, you just need someone to remind you of that. So that's coming up in September. So look out for that, Living with Audacity, because the people that leave that, good luck to the people that are out here trying to like rain on their parade. It ain't happening.
Yeah. And they will absolutely stay in the know because they will sign up for your newsletter at the link in the description. You do definitely want to have Aisha in your orbit. This was just not even a half hour of her energy. So I'm telling you right now, get on that newsletter. You want to be a part of her. You want her to be a part of your world, and you want to be a part of her world. I mean, I think you already dropped the nugget because it kind of knocked the wind out of me. But do you have a nugget to leave with the audience today?
I do. And I think this is again, I think this is a mantra that I use daily. And again, it is based on what I experienced. And it's that no one is responsible for cueing you into your greatness. We put a lot of emphasis in time in waiting for others to say, CJ, you're great. CJ, you're amazing. CJ, you're ready. That is no one's responsibility but your own. And the moment you realize that is the moment, again, you start the process of emancipation of people, places, and things that you know in your gut, because we all know. We know what friends we need to maybe cut out, or family we need to cut out, or things we need to stop doing, or places we need to stop going. But the moment you realize that you are responsible for cueing yourself into your greatness is the moment you start to relinquish those expectations of others and really use your own measuring stick around what greatness looks like. So that's my, again, many other gems, but that is a huge one for me. Huge one. And it's one that I impart because it's what I learned on my own personal journey.
Okay, and thank you so much for sharing that with me and my audience here today. Sharing your energy
Thank
with
you.
me and the audience here today. You are an absolute light. I am so happy that we are connected
Thank
and I get to
you.
cheer you on and see you on your last day and not
Yes,
all that irritating. But
yes.
for now, I will let you go. Thank you so much, and I will
Thank
see
you.
you soon, my girl.
Thank you. Thank you.